Matt from LUCIDPIXUL, and welcome back. Tonight, in my home, late at night, it's around 9 o'clock at night, and I'm looking out at the night sky, at the pitch black sky as we speak. It is uncharacteristically quiet in my home, apart from my cats that yell at me every now and then because they want to be brushed, or they want to be loved, or they want to be played with. My family stepped out to go and watch the fireworks for a couple of hours, so I have this eerily quiet home to live in right now for a little bit. So I would love to indulge and share my thoughts with you. And today's video is dedicated to somebody who left a comment in my video last week who said, "I love your videos, but they've been very heavy lately," meaning heavy topics. I've been talking about heavy topics lately. And it would be really nice to have something a little bit more upbeat or a little bit less weighty emotionally. So today's video is dedicated to them who were generous enough to offer their opinion, and an opinion that will benefit all of us today. So thank you. I do want to share a positive message with you. However, before I do that, I think it's important to shine a light on a truth about this past year. And by this past year, I mean all of 2023, and now we're into 2024. That, yeah, it was a heavy year, wasn't it? It was an emotionally unpredictable, scary in some cases, year. Artificial intelligence, unemployment, uncertainty. I posted multiple videos on my channel, alone or with fellow colleagues and fellow YouTubers, where we had a chance to share our thoughts and feelings about what's going on, what's our future. And I imagine for a lot of younger artists out there especially, if you're new in the industry, if you're in your teens or 20s or maybe even 30s, this might be the first time you've ever had to face a real demon, a real threat, an existential threat to your future as an artist. And although what's going on right now with artificial intelligence and with employment and all these different things, many different industries, including AI developers for that matter, are living in a very unpredictable time. Nobody's quite sure what lies in store for us in the future. I think artists are particularly sensitive to this reality, namely because artists have always lived on the fringes professionally. The artistic career has always been one that our well-meaning, practical parents and grandparents and loved ones would say, don't pursue. It's a dead-end job. You're going to starve for the rest of your life. Get yourself a job that'll bring you some stability so you can raise a family and all that stuff. Yet, stubbornly, over the centuries, it seems that us artists just can't muster up the ability to give up. Most of us, at least. But then every now and then something really serious happens. Be it, well, something I've described in the past when 3D art was created. Heck, when digital art became a thing. I mean, pre-digital art, we were oil painters and acrylic painters and watercolor artists and ink artists and comic book artists that worked on paper and sketchbooks and canvases. And all of a sudden, there's a tool that allows us to get access to every imaginable color and work in layers and work non-destructively. Yet, those decades and decades and decades of skill, learning how to master the paintbrush and master the medium and master the material that you painted on, all of a sudden, that becomes obsolete to a certain degree overnight. Or at least that's how it felt, right? And then fast forward and 3D animation becomes a thing, and traditional classical animators like myself, found himself immediately thrown to the bottom of a very, very packed barrel, outweighed by the masters that preceded me, who were also in the same barrel with me, albeit not quite as low as me. And sitting there and thinking to myself, I have dedicated my entire life in the pursuit of this passion. I was one of those rare individuals who knew who he was and identified as an artist and an animator from the age 5 onwards. And every single thing I did following that realization reassured me that that's who I was, until I wasn't. By this time, I was an educated artist. I was just about to start my profession. I was just about to launch myself out on this industry, and poof, all gone. At least that's how it felt. But I persevered, and I learned 3D. I adapted. I decided, hey, keep your enemies closer. So I learned 3D, and well, I've shared that story with people many times. I'm sure you're sick and tired of hearing it. But here we are again. Now there's this new kid in town, this new hotshot, who walks in the room with a bigger engine and a shinier coat and cooler looking tires, and us digital artists, how ironic, are now sitting there thinking to ourselves, is my job over? Is my skill as an artist being taken away? Is it being hijacked by some programmer who has absolutely no business stealing my hard-earned skill? But there they are, seemingly doing it right in front of our face, and there's nothing we can do about it. And now, in February, almost March of 2024, I'm very thankful to know, to see, that a lot of my predictions are starting to ring true. And by true, I mean, no, AI art is not gone. In fact, it's improving. Now the latest thing are videos, absolutely amazing looking videos that are all produced on a single prompt. Beautifully done. A little bit creepy and glitchy in places, but in most cases, really, really impressive stuff. But I'm not hearing people talking about Stable Diffusion so much anymore. Does that mean it doesn't exist? No, it still exists. And I'm starting to see a lot of YouTubers and stuff like that using AI as a means to create really cool thumbnails for their YouTube videos and stuff like that, which I actually think is kind of a cool tool. But I'm hearing less and less of artists like you and I, illustrators, expressing this feeling of existential threat. And I'm extremely grateful to all of you who weathered the storm up until this point, because you can now watch the tail end of that storm slowly start to fade away off into the distance. And you can look down at yourselves, you look down at your hands, at your feet, at the ground under you, and realize, I'm still here. And furthermore, I'm still producing art. I'm still capable of expressing myself artistically. I'm still growing and learning and improving. And to that I say, congratulations. You just won your first fight. You've just stepped into the ring with somebody who you were positive was going to kick the living shit out of you. And you got your ass handed to you a few times, but you kept getting back on your feet. And you're still here. And it reminds me of that expression. I think it's Mike Tyson expression. Everybody thinks they can fight until they get punched in the face. And then all of a sudden reality kicks in. Everybody thinks they can manage a a career in any shape or form until they get punched in the face. And this year we got punched in the face a couple of times. And you know what? Looking back at this unpredictable year that we've had, let me ask you, do you feel weaker and less secure? Or do you feel a little bit stronger that despite all of your fears, you didn't give up? You got knocked down and you kept getting back on your feet defiantly. My guess is most of you probably feel a little bit proud of that, don't you? Not only that, much like I've expressed on my channel, because I'm older and I've been through experiences like this, not exactly like this, but similar, that a lot of the conviction in my voice that I share with you, a lot of the confidence that I have in what I have to express is not because I'm a know-it-all. It's because I thought I knew it all and I got punched in the face. And then I thought I knew it all again and then I got punched in the face harder. And then I was positive I had it all figured out. And then I got kicked in the nuts. But I'm still here. I always had the choice to pick up my pen and keep drawing, when I could have very easily chosen to put my pen down. And sadly, at least for now, some of you have. You've taken your gloves off and you've gotten out of the ring. Sadly, some of you gave in to the fear and the uncertainty and stepped away from the ring. To you who've done that, I hope that you have found fulfillment somewhere else, and there's a very good chance that you have. If you haven't, however, I've kept your gloves polished and your laces tight. And they're sitting right here if you want to jump back in the ring. If you need a sparring partner, I'm here for you. It's never too late to get back in. To those artists out there, if you're an artist who let the heat get to you and felt overwhelmed and discouraged and pissed off, I've known many artists who have thrown in the towel for many years. But the reality is, if you're truly an artist, that artist never leaves you. I witnessed it firsthand with my mother, who, like I've mentioned many times, had to give up art, period. She had 3 kids to raise on her own. She had no choice. She went back to school, got a degree in computer science, yada, 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 and made her, and achieved an incredible career, had great financial stability, and did some wonderful things in her life. But then the minute she retired, she picked up her paintbrushes again, and she's been painting ever since. She was evidence to me that the artist never leaves you. And as a result of that, I have never feared losing my identity as an artist, regardless of whatever terrible challenges I've faced throughout my career. There were certain skills that I had to learn, but that's what pain does. Pain teaches you how to become adaptable. Pain teaches you how to become smarter. Pain teaches you to be a better version of yourself. And this is something that I've learned not only through my artistic career, but it's something that I've learned physically and medically over all the challenges that I've had to face with my thyroid and with my back and with all these things that we have to deal with sometimes. I became smarter. I became wiser. I inherited, through my terrible back pain for 2 years, an incredible respect for the human body and all of its amazing functions. And I learned how to become a physically better version of myself. I learned to be realistic and open-minded about my weaknesses so that I could finally fix them after 48 years of my life. And now I'm a fitter, stronger, healthier version of myself than I've been my entire life. My entire life. If I could go back in time and somebody told me, I can let you live your life without any of the struggles you've had to deal with, without any of the unemployment you've had to deal with and sitting in the unemployment offices, with any of the bill collectors that had to chase after you, with any of the uncertainty you've had to deal with. If I could go back in time and I was given the option to avoid having to deal with that, I would gracefully decline the offer and say no. I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't have a respect for humanity that I have today. I wouldn't have a respect for myself that I do today if life didn't kick the shit out of me every now and then. If you're still standing here, if you're still drawing, if you're still beating yourself up about the fact that maybe you quit for a little while, if you're somebody who's sitting there thinking to yourself, I suck ass, I have no skill, and I'm not going anywhere, and this job market sucks ass, and I'm going to be broke for the rest of my life. If you have imposter syndrome, if you're somebody who goes on ArtStation or Pinterest or Google, and you just look at that wall of, I call it the wall of shame, the wall of everything that you're never going to be, and you sit there thinking to yourself, I am a nobody. I want you to know something. The fact that you're struggling so much, the fact that you find yourself in this position in the first place is not because you suck. It's not because you're anything that you blame yourself of being. In fact, the only reason you're here in the first place is because you're a fighter. It's because you chose to get in the ring. The only reason you've got black eyes and a busted lip and a crooked nose and sore ribs is because you're one of the only soldiers brave enough to get into that ring in the first place. You're in pain because you're fearless. You're in pain because even though all the voices out there told you you're an idiot and you're wasting your time, you had that little voice in your head saying, I have to figure that shit out for myself. And you decided instead to pursue your passion. And that makes you my hero. That makes you my hero. If you're sitting there right now drawing, if you're sitting there right now identifying as an artist, then you're my hero. You've earned that title. And I don't give a shit if fear made you give it up for a bit, because those gloves still belong to you and you can put them back on anytime you wish. And when you do, I'm always going to be in your corner. We all will. All right? With that said, I truly love you with all my heart, and happy painting. Take care.